It's about 2 minutes after, so let's jump right in. So Transaction Plan is a new tool that we have available for our agents, and it's twofold. It not only will give you a certain subset of reports so that you can track your own business, but there's also opportunity in order to be able to update your media for your listings and for your profile. So this is a product that we launched company-wide last year, and it is where we do all of our transactions. So your staff, your local ASCs and RSCs, your local commission specialists, the closing department, they all operate in the account tech world. And then that data flows through to Transaction Plan. So this will allow you to run reports so that you can track your own business. Now, as far as loading media, whether it's your headshot or for your listings, our staff absolutely can still do that for you. We just know that some agents like to do it on their own, so we do have that available for you now. So if things like watermarks are coming across from the MLS, if you need to add high-res photos for your property, that's the kind of things you can do in Transaction Plan. So let's jump right in. So how you get to your link, it is in the email invite that you saw. Your username will be your first name, last name. However, we know some of you have legal names, some of you have nicknames. So if you are uncertain on what your login is, just reach out to your local ASC or RSC and we'll make sure that we get you that information. There are 2 temporary passwords. For anybody in Michigan or Premier Properties in Ohio, your temporary password is going to be Schmidt 12 with a capital S. But if that doesn't work, please try Schmidt 12 exclamation point. Both of those have a capital S. Both of them have 12. One of them ends in a pound sign and one of them ends in an exclamation point. So if you are unable to access your particular login, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are working with a lot of different teams to ensure that all the agents have access when they need it, but sometimes there are a few things that we just have to tweak to get you access. So feel free to reach out and we will get you access. The easiest way to get to Transaction Plan is from Schmidt Resources. So whether you're in Michigan, Ohio, Florida, or USVI, you want to go to the Transaction Plan Square. And it's going to look just like this with the little tree on it. It says Account Tech in the graphic, but right underneath, right here, it says Transaction Plan. When you click into that square, you're going to see 2 options. You have your Transaction Plan login, and then you can also get to the help desk. So if you have certain questions, you are going to be able to get to their help desk. Obviously, you can always reach out with your questions as well, but if you want to go to their help desk, that link is there as well. So I have a few questions come in on Florida. The Florida password outside of World Golf Village and Volusia will be Schmidt with the capital S, 12 exclamation point. But again, feel free to reach out if you're having any issues. These passwords are also referenced in the email invite that went out to everyone. So from here, we're going to click on Transaction Plan Login, Agents and Staff. And this is what your login screen will look like. Obviously, if you've ever logged in before, your browser does have the opportunity to save your password, but due to security settings that we have, it will prompt you every 90 days to update that password. So anything to do with banking, anything to do with a lot of the online logins, they do make sure that you have to be forced to update your password every so often. Transaction Plan is 90 days. It will prompt you. When you first head to Transaction Plan, this is the screen you're going to see. As soon as you put that temp password in, it's going to require you to add a new password for yourselves. So you do see here, it is going to be strong password. It has to be 8 characters. 1 uppercase, 1 number, and 1 special character. So pretty standard this day and age when it comes to secure passwords. So feel free to put in any password that you want. But this will be the first screen that you see when you head to Transaction Plan. For any of our managers on the call, you may have more than 1 login just based on the data that you need to see for yourself. So if you're a manager on the call and you're uncertain, again, just feel free to reach out. So this is what it's going to look like when you first launch into Transaction Plan. It doesn't look like a lot, right? It's like, oh, there's nothing here. But I promise you there is. So the first thing that you want to click on when it comes to reports is this all button. When you click on all, your subset of reports that you're able to run for yourself as an agent do show up here. You can pull your agent invoice statement, you can do your buyer and seller by agent report, your closings, basic listing report, and your pending report. And again, this is only going to be data for you specifically as the agent. Obviously, staff and managers are able to pull reports for those in their offices, but for the agents, it is secure. You're only going to be seeing your own data. So for example, if we want to go by closings by agent, that is going to pull up a pop-up screen. This gives you a lot of options, but you can see right here, the person, you yourself as the agent will always stay static. You do not have the opportunity to run data for other agents. So you can rest assured this is secured. You can put in a custom date. So maybe you want to look at your closings from last quarter. Maybe it's last month. You can do a custom one as well. So you can put in your date range. Now keep in mind, we launched this product Transaction Plan about 18 to 24 months ago, depending on your region. So it'll have as much data in there as far back as we've been operating in your system, in your region. So you can choose last quarter. You have a lot of options here, but you really don't need to worry about those. You can just simply click run. Once that data loads, this report will come up. Now, you doesn't have a lot of detail, right? The trick with Transaction Plan is you always want to look for the little plus sign. It will open up levels of data so that you can get further information. So if you're like, man, that report is great, but there's nothing on it, simply look for the little plus sign and it's going to pull up that detail. So you always have that opportunity to have that plus sign pull up more data. So again, if we click on the little minus button, it closes it back up. And if you click on the plus, that's going to run the full report. So from here, you have a few options. You can print or you can export. So you have all of these options: CSV, PDF, Excel. That same expansion is also an option when you are exporting it in Excel. So for example, we're going to export to Excel. And now we have the same report that we had in Transaction Plan in Excel format. You can see the levels right here, 1, 2, 3. If you're on level 1, very little data. If you open it up fully by clicking the 3, you're going to have your details show up. So that is the trick. Always look for those tiers, either by the numbers in Excel or by the plus sign when you're in Transaction Plan. You can see when you do run a report, it opens a secondary tab here. So you can close that out if you want to, and you can come right back here to your landing page. Because you may want to get to these reports without having to click all, you can drop and drag these over to your favorites and they will show up on your home screen without having to click into all. So if you drop and drag your agent invoice statement over to favorites, it's going to show up there. So now if we toggle back to tools real quick and back to reports, you can see that agent invoice statement is there. If you click on all, it's going to show up there as well. But if you have two of these reports you really like and you're going to want to do it, you can drop and drag those over to your favorites so that you can readily get back to them. Michelle, today the E&O insurance payments and voluntary charitable payroll deductions doesn't show in exactly probably the way we would like it to for tax purposes, but we are working on this product to make it fully robust for you guys. So love the ideas as you guys are working with this product. If there's anything you think, well, this would be really great if I could get this information, send it over to us. Absolutely, if it's a possibility, we will make sure that we get that up and running. We did a small beta test with some agents on this product and they had some really good thoughts, but we would absolutely love to hear from the agent population how we can make this product better. So again, we are in reports. When you first come in here, you're not going to see this. You have to click on where it says all. But then again, you can drop and drag over to your favorites so that they will show up right here. So you don't have to click into that. And again, when you click into a the choice, you always have to put in a date range. It's always going to prompt you. If you forget, the system will tell you. It'll say, oh, hold on, you need a date. So right here, if I forget to run my date and click run, it gives me that error. You must fill in date range. Just click OK. You can come back here. You can add custom, or you can put in whatever information you want. Click run, and then here is your agent invoice statement. Again, you can print or you can export. The other opportunity that we have here is for you to be able to update your media, whether it's on your listings or if it's your headshot. Again, our staff is more than able and more than happy to do this for you, but if you're an agent that would like to do it on their own, or perhaps you have an assistant that you would like to do it for you, you have that opportunity. In this type address bar here at the top, you want to start typing the address of the property that you would like to update the media or the open house or whatever it might be. Now, our listings are coming over company-wide from your local MLS. So the MLS is your first data point entry. That gets pushed over to Transaction Plan. From here, you can jump into your open houses, you can jump into your media stream, or if you click on the address, that's going to pull up the entire property. And yes, this is being recorded, Chris, so we'll make sure we get that recording out to you after the fact. So this is our full property database here. And then if you want to upload those new photos, maybe your MLS watermarks them, maybe it makes them low res. So we want to make sure that on coldwellbanker.com and coldwellbankerluxury.com, we have higher res photos. So again, you click on media stream, all the photos as we're put in the MLS will come over. You can edit them if you would like. You can add more if you would like. If you want to select all and delete because they're low res or they're watermarked, you can do that and then re-upload the originals right here. You also have the opportunity to edit the videos as they're coming across. So if you click on the edit video, it's going to have the video as it came across from the MLS feed here. If you would like to add additional videos, you can go ahead and click add multiple videos. And then you have the option of URL, which would be like your Vimeo, a video, or a YouTube URL. And then you can categorize that, whether it's a local listing link, a video walkthrough, or a virtual tour. You paste the link in there and click save, and then within 24 to 48 hours, it shows up on the websites live. So again, it's not readily available where you find this, but you do just start typing in this address, and then it'll come up. And again, it'll only be your listings. It won't be anybody else's listings. So the question was, what is the benefit of adding listing photos? Does it feed somewhere? Great question, Diane. So Transaction Plan is what feeds any of our Coldwell Banker websites, coldwellbanker.com, cbcworldwide.com for the commercial brokers on the call, coldwellbankergloballuxury.com. So if we need the high-res photos, this is where we would want to put them, or ask your ASC to put them, so it'll feed those websites. If you have a Global Luxury listing and you go to the Global Luxury website and they look fuzzy or blurry, those are the low-res photos. We would need to add the high-res photos. This particular MLS here in Traverse City does watermark the photos. So if you want those to show up on coldwellbanker.com without that watermark, this is where you would head to upload those higher res or non-watermarked photo. Joe asked if the data is available for sales and rentals and vacation rentals. The only data that flows through the transaction plan is those particular properties that are being put into your local MLS. So if it's put into your local MLS, it should feed over to Transaction Plan. If you're putting it in Appfolio or Streamline because it is that vacation rental, that does not talk to the system. That media would have to be handled in one of those two platforms. The question was, will this update the MLS? So MLS will only push forward data. It does not backfill. So MLS is always your first data point. You put it in MLS, it feeds to Transaction Plan. If you update Transaction Plan, that will feed out to our websites like coldwellbanker.com, but it will never backfill the MLS. So great question. So there is one other spot here that will take media, and that's your headshots. Now again, the staff is more than happy to put your headshot in, but this is what will populate your profile on CBC Worldwide, coldwellbanker.com, and those sites. So to get to that functionality, you want to go to where it says Tools, Agent Roster. And again, because it's locked down to just your account, it'll be just you in the roster because this is your specific account in Account Tech. To add a photo, you just click on the Upload Photo link, which looks just like a camera. Find your headshot that you have saved into your computer. Click Open. This little cloud right here will show a little red 1. That's how you know it's working. There's no spinning anything on this one. That little red 1 will stay there until it uploads. It disappeared, your screen blinked at you, and then when it came back up, your headshot showed. Now, once you load this into Transaction Plan, we do need to give the system time to feed out. So if you upload it today, it may show up later in the day, but most likely you want to wait until the following day to check. And that works the same way with those listing photos as well. So again, you can upload your videos, you can upload your listing photos to feed out, not back, but out, and you can put in your headshot. Now, any of this contact information that you see for yourself right here when you went to Tools and then to Agent Roster, if this information is not correct, we do not have the ability for you as the agent to update it in this platform. But please check it. So if it's not correct, reach out to your ASC. They will be able to go into our back office program, update that, it'll flow through to Transaction Plan and then out to the website. So you do want to make sure that this data is correct. But again, we cannot update it in this platform. Our staff can do that for you. The point was that the photo was in the spot, but it was distorted. So we did have an issue with the brand. They changed a feed. I'm not going to go into details because it's a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo. But if your photo here looks pink, if it looks distorted, all you have to do is click Delete Photo, go back into the Upload Photo option and re-upload your photo. That'll ensure that the correct photo that you want to show on the websites is in here. It's the right media that you want, and it'll let you upload it. So just delete first and then re-upload. So great question. The question was, is there a resolution limit to the headshot? I believe there probably is, Michelle, but I will have to get that exact number for you and get it out. If it doesn't load, it will let you know. So it'll give you an error. If the headshot that you're trying to load doesn't load, you will get an error. So great questions there. Again, just to quickly recap, we can get in through Schmidt Resources, go to the transaction square here, Transaction Plan Login. Now for any of our wonderful staff on the call, our ASCs, our RSCs, our commission specialists, our managers, if you're trying to access the Darwin Citrix environment, you're going to want to head to your ASC or Manager Square and get the link there. We did move that across so as to make sure that the agents knew that this is the link for Transaction Plan and not the back office portion of it. If your photo is correct, but it on FLCB it's sideways, Debbie, that's a separate product. So shoot me an email or get with your ASC. flcoldwellbanker.com is a different feed from Transaction Plan. Transaction Plan will feed coldwellbanker.com, the national brand site. So if that's not looking correct, reach out and we'll find that back office product and update that for you. Always a great idea to find yourselves online and just ensure that the system is working and that you're showing up correctly. So once you click on here, it will launch you into the product. It'll take you right to the Reports tab. Keep in mind, the first time you log in, you are required to put in a new password, and then every 90 days you will as well. And then when you're here, you just have to click on All. It'll pull up your subset of reports. You can drop and drag them over to your favorites, so the next time you log in, they'll be right here. You won't have to click on All. To run the report, you click on the report itself. Again, you can put in your date range. You can say All, yesterday, last week, last month, or you can type in the date range that you want to see. Click Run. And anytime you see that little plus sign, it means there's more data to be had. You just have to expand the report. So once this comes up, you can see there is in fact a little plus sign. So if you click the plus sign, it's going to pull up the data, which did not work for me on this particular one. So let's try that again. We'll have to take a look at this report because it should be pulling up more data on this one. You can export this into Excel or CSV. So if you're pulling in your buyer and seller information, there is the opportunity to then export it to a CSV, and then you can import it into your Gmail account, and then that will automatically sync over to your Moxie. So it's a good way to get your past buyers and sellers that you have in the transaction plan system over to Moxie. And in the spirit of time, we can do that on a Moxie Monday coming up, but I did want to let you know that it is available, but we have to make sure this report is firing on all cylinders before we can do that. So we will make sure that we do it. Thank you, Jessica. So Jessica Poblinski, she did put in the chat that photos must be under 5 megabytes to send. So you'll want to make sure it's in a JPEG, a JPG format, and 5 megs or less in order to send for your headshot. So thank you, Jessica. So again, we realize that this tool can be super helpful for some agents. Some agents might not need to use it at all. So I would highly encourage you to log in, take a look at what the reports will show you, check out your listings as they show on there, and then reach out to us if you have any questions after the fact. I'll go ahead and stay on for just another moment in case you guys have any questions, or if Jessica or Julie or Mike are on the call and they have anything they'd like to add, feel free to unmute yourselves as well. But again, head to schmidtresources.com, click on the transaction plan square, pull up the email that you were provided with those temporary passwords, and if you don't have access or if you're getting an error, just reach out to us and we'll make sure that you get in there. Thank you guys so much for your time. This recording will be put into our YouTube video Schmidt Classroom. And yes, Julie, I can unmute you, I think. Let me see. Let me find you and I'll unmute you. So it's going to be put into our video classroom and be sent out as well so that you'll be able to review it if you would like. You are unmuted now, Julie.
Okay, so what I just saw in the chat box is that somebody indicated that their credentials weren't working. I'm not sure, Carrie, if you covered, because I stepped in about 3 minutes late, that their username is their actual legal name. It's not a nickname. If your legal name is Joseph, it's not going to be Joe. It's going to be Joseph. And then if that's still not working for you, to please let your ASC or your RSC know, and they can go, or even myself, Carrie, Jessica, we can go in and see exactly what your username is and give you that information, and plus reset your password for you.
Absolutely. And as we work through this is our first launch. If you could just let your ASC know, she or he will compile that list. They'll get it over to us, and then we'll communicate back as soon as we have you up and running. So if you can just give us a day or two, because I'm assuming we're going to have quite a few, we'll make sure that we get you in this product. So thank you for that, Julie. Mm-hmm. Well, again, thank you guys so much for your time. As always, if you have any questions after the fact, feel free to reach out to us and we will make sure that we get you the information that you need. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye now.